Amsterdam, famous for weed, legal weed, mushrooms, prostitution. They're partying. And then they meet some Russian guy who's like, you should come to Slovakia. You know, the girls over there, they're better, they're cheaper, they're more fun. And then what happens is these guys go over there, they party with some girls, and they get drugged. And then each of them wake up and they're in some really bad situations.
Well, that's a sad ending.
And it's basically the story is these rich elites from around the world pay to go torture people in Slovakia. So sorry, Slovakia. It was probably not good for your tourism, but I see why you brought this guy over there. So, you know, you can kind of help out. And
I'm glad they didn't show me that movie before I went, because my black ass definitely wouldn't have went.
Yeah, no, it definitely was a creepy movie when I saw it.
Comedy Simp, the podcast you can't resist. Stephen Michael James, the host you won't wanna miss. From Seattle to the world, his humor will persist. Join the fun, get ready to enlist.
Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, straight off of the hot new show, They're Just Jokes, the athletic, the comedic, the entrepreneurial. He might even be a professor, guys. Thanks for joining us on the Comedy Simp. This is Xavier Smith.
What's up, man?
How's it going, man?
It's going good. I feel like I'm out of contact with how I'm dressed right now.
He thought he was going to be on Jimmy Kimmel. He was wrong, you know.
This is like Jimmy Kimmel a little bit.
Yeah, it's the punk rock Jimmy Kimmel, you know. We might even get canceled for some of the things we say as well, right?
All right.
But man, before we get started, how do people get a hold of you? How do they find you online? How do they find your show, There's Just Jokes?
Weekly show we do, sketch comedy, stand-up comedy in West Seattle. You can follow the show's Instagram at They're Just Jokes on Instagram. You can follow my personal Instagram, xsmith11. And yeah, it's a cool weekly show I do every Wednesday. Have a cast of comedians, bring some stand-ups. I do a monologue every week. And we have music performances, so it's a fun show. And people should come out and support and watch it live on YouTube as well. Yeah, I think that's it.
Well, thanks for sitting down with me.
Thanks for having me, bro. Yeah.
Thanks for dressing up. Man, I want to start by saying, you know, the first time I remember even knowing your name, and this is an infamous story in Seattle comedy lore, and that is, you know, every new comic, when they are starting out, you know, they go to open mics, and then before they go to the clubs, you know, they might do a little feature at an open mic.
Yep.
You were one of those comics who moved on from open mics to doing a feature.
Right.
And you did one at a place in Seattle called the Shanghai Room.
The Shanghai.
R.I.P. Shanghai Room.
Yeah, so sad.
Closed down. One of my good friends, Nick Cody, was a host there. He used to host on Saturdays. He used to do a couple shows there. And so one night you were featuring.
Okay.
You featured at the Shanghai Room. I'd never seen you before.
Yeah.
But you brought all your friends.
Yeah.
And they were all there to cheer you on. And we were all excited.
Yeah.
Big full room. And then just one after another, every comic just did terribly. Like your guys, your crowd was not having any of our jokes. Jay Marks was there, Nick Cody, a couple other people. And it was a fun time because I have a great clip.
Yeah.
And I don't know who said it, but I said something about a transition, you know, going from one joke to the other.
Right.
And somebody in the crowd was like, I don't know who he's referring to, but he's like, all y'all about to transition.
Yeah. So the people I brought to that show that night, my goal was just to fill it up. I didn't care. I didn't care who I brought, and I probably should have scouted them out who I was bringing to that show, because I don't think some of them knew that people were telling jokes. That night, you know,
that place it's a difficult place. You know, some of the local people would say like, nobody bombs at the Shanghai Room. That's not true. I've seen a lot of bombs there.
I never understood that slogan. Why people said that.
But yeah, so when you were featuring there, About how long had you been doing comedy by that point?
Maybe like a few, like 6 months, maybe
6 months. You're
6 to
already
7
doing
months.
a feature.
Yeah, because
Wow.
I was watching Ralph Barbosa. He's one of my favorite stand-ups, and I was just listening to him talk about his journey. And he said, like, when he had first started, he felt like he was good enough. He started just messaging like a lot of comedy rooms, comedy clubs, asking if he could just do a guest spot, a feature, just come down to the club. So I started doing that, and I was looking up spots around Seattle because I still had no idea about anything in the comedy business. And Shanghai was one of the rooms that responded and let me come do a feature spot and do some time and set it up real nice for me. So that's how I ended up doing that so early. Just
Noah Dino
going
Dad
for it.
Ruben. He's one of the guys that started that thing. I don't know if
Yeah.
he's the guy that booked you on that, but I'm happy that we're sitting down. I'm happy that I went to your show tonight. I want to tell you that you have such this positive energy in your shows and in your comedy that I feel has been missing for a long time. When I started comedy, I started at Tony V's up in Everett, and then moved on to like the Shanghai Room and all the little rooms like that in Seattle. And I'll be honest with you, man, like a lot of people in Seattle not very happy. They're kind of cranky, kind of grumpy.
Yeah.
Are you a native Seattle guy? Did you grow up here?
Yeah, born and raised in Seattle.
Wow. Okay, that's cool because I haven't met a lot of you. I have a lot of people who live here came from other places, including me. So
Where are you from?
I'm from California, Sacramento.
How'd you get up here?
It was a few life choices. I was working at a job for about 10 years, and the owner of that company decided to sell it to an investment group. Okay. And so they started changing a lot of things. So wasn't really happy with the way it goes. I also had a daughter, 2018. So when she was born, we were just kind of thinking like, hey, what do we want to do with this next part of our life? You know? And I really liked Seattle growing up as a kid. I loved all the bands, Nirvana. I loved the, the Starbucks, the Plaid, all that, the whole Northwest thing. I even loved the rainy weather,
Yeah.
So we just, all these different circumstances brought us up here. But Sacramento's a great place, Bo Blast, who was on your show tonight, he regularly goes down to Sacramento at the Laughs Unlimited Club down there. And man, what a treat. What a treat. I mean, let's talk about your show, and then we'll get back to, starting comedy. Your show tonight, wow. I mean, just a mix of everything. You had stand-up. Yeah. You had sketch comedy. You had live vocals. Yeah. You had a colorful cast of characters. You had people that
all different colors and shapes and sizes.
You have people that do this just strict, joke writing, and then you have people that just freestyle and are just hilarious.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you liked them. Thanks for coming too.
Yeah, this is my second show I've been to this week. I went to another show on Sunday, and man, it was so put together. It was really well. You have a great crew.
I appreciate that, man.
So, what inspired the comedy, and then eventually what inspired, kind of putting something together like this?
I think with comedy is something that like I always, comedians like, oh, I was always funny growing up and stuff. And I was always like funny, but only with the people that I was comfortable with and close with. I wasn't like a class clown or anything like that. And that's partially for a few different reasons because I played basketball and also I was scared of my dad. So I had to like always behave. I never wanted to get in trouble. But I don't know. When I was playing basketball, I fell in love with like just the way Chappelle delivers his thoughts.
So we're talking about growing up here. Yeah. You're in Seattle. Yeah. Seattle, like Seattle City? Or
Seattle, yeah. I'm not right in Seattle. I've moved all around in the city, but
so growing up, you're in high school playing. I mean, what was it like? Was it because I've seen movies, where soon as like high school, all the scouts start coming in and looking. I mean, was that something that was happening like in your kind of your time period?
I was a late bloomer though. Yeah, I wasn't always this tall. I didn't like fit the description really. I was fat, Had to lose some weight.
Hey, I was a little chubby too. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
I absolutely, you know, we've all been there. You know?
Yeah, my dad told me when I was like 10 years old, he was like, "You got to stop drinking soda. You're getting fat." Like, and I stopped drinking soda. I haven't had a can of soda since I was maybe 10 years old. And
Wow.
weirdly, after that, I like started to hit my growth spurt. And then, yeah, my junior and senior year of high school, I started getting recognized by a lot of colleges, and I had some good options to go to. And I ultimately ended up going to Oregon State. Then I bounced around. I went to Idaho. Then I finished my college career at Central Washington University. Then I went and played professional for a few years. Then I hung it up, and now we're here.
Well, let's talk about
Yeah.
before that, when you were young. I mean, you said you're kind of scared of your dad. I mean, you know, you can go into that whether you want to or not. But I mean, was growing up, how was it for you? I mean, was it good? Was it bad? I mean, you know, Seattle is notoriously, you know, kind of like progressive, you know,
Yeah.
trying to be the Pacific Northwest, the most progressive. But, you know, growing up, black guy in an area full of white people, did you face difficulties, or was it actually more of a welcoming time growing up for you?
Nah, growing up, I mean, I was only around black people, like my family. Like I had a
Really?
big family, yeah. So I wasn't around too many other ethnicities until I started hitting like high school and like later
Sports
middle
and
school
things like
sports
that.
and stuff. And then I started getting more exposed to the whites.
Yeah.
You know, and all different ethnicities and cultures. But no, it never affected me negatively being in a city like Seattle and being black, but that's also because I have a really big family and like I didn't need to hang out with anybody else but my people. So I don't know. That's interesting. I never thought about that before.
And then because I would imagine too, I mean, because California, you know, kind of progressive too, but even outside of the cities, you'll find some real just kind of backwoods type guys, you know, like these guys that.
When we say backwoods, what are we talking about?
We're talking about Confederate flag
Gotcha,
type
yep.
people, you know,
Yep,
lifted pickup trucks, maybe bikers, you know, motorcycle guys. I mean,
that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page with what we mean by backwood guys.
I feel pretty lucky because in the town that I grew up in, you know, it's pretty Hispanic, you know, like, so I kind of was introduced to different cultures pretty early on. You know, my mom was very open-minded, you know, back in the early days. You know, she had gay friends before I was born.
Oh, wow.
So she, you know, introduced gay people, black people, Mexican people, you know, all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, I mean, like, definitely coming up here to Washington and some of the stuff that I see on Facebook, some of the stuff that I've seen in, you know, I used to fix garage doors, so I've kind of been to some of the rural towns.
Fix garage doors.
Yeah, I was doing that when I started comedy.
And how did you decide? You looked at a garage and was like,
No, I work for a
that
company.
needs work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, outside of comedy, I
didn't know that was a job.
I've always been a warehouse guy, you know, working in warehouses, unloading trucks. And I ended up at a garage door company doing that.
Wow.
And eventually I switched to learn how to, you know, be a repair guy.
Mm.
You know, but I didn't end up liking it because, you know, in order to be successful in that, I feel like you kind of got to rip people off a little bit, you know, the way they overcharge for labor and parts and, you know, and sometimes it's just like, you know, you see people in these situations and you know that they can't afford it and you want to do everything you can for them, but you know, at the end of the day, you still got to make your own paycheck. So I was like, I got to get out of that. But yeah, I mean, I love being here. I love this area.
How would you describe, like, what genre of white would you say you are? Like,
me?
Are you punk rock, skater?
I
can't tell really what I've always wondered that about you.
I'll be honest, man. I love talking about this stuff, but there's certain people that get nervous about it. You know? And it's like, you say Chappelle. I mean, we grew up watching Chappelle, and it's like the comedy and the absurdity of different races and stereotypes and stuff. It's just like, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But as comedians, it's fun to joke about it sometimes too. Like, I watched some of your sketches tonight, and I think about Chappelle's show.
Yeah.
And I think about, like, man, I would love to play like a redneck in one of these, you know, just play like the worst kind of redneck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, I kind of started out like that, a punk rock kind of guy.
Okay.
I played music for a long time. Played
I
in a
remember
band.
we talked about that before, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I played guitar, in bands. It just, I never found a thing that I really liked that I stuck with. I always loved entertainment, always loved art. I've done everything from music to painting to photography, and then now I'm doing this, the podcast.
Who's your favorite punk rock, or who's your favorite rock band?
Oh, that's tough, man. That's tough. We'll get to that.
All right.
What kind of white am I now? I think I've really kind of settled into being a dad and a husband. Okay. I've been married for about 10 years, and when I started comedy, I was kind of using it as an escape because I was very just not happy at home.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's the case for any of us.
it's when you get to be my age, because I'm 40, I just turned 40. Like you either you're gonna grow or you're not. You're just gonna be that same guy forever. And so I'm trying to grow and trying to be that person and find that balance. And it's like, I love the stand-up, I love comedy, but also, I want to be there for when they need me. I don't want my daughter to grow up and have daddy issues and have a really just terrible relationships and stuff like that. My dad wasn't around growing up. Me and him are cool now, but so it's I think, we had a generation, I don't know you're not that much younger than me, I imagine, but kind of this generation where, a lot of the dads either weren't around for whatever reason. In my case, it was not that my dad didn't want to be there, but it's just he could not get along with my mom for whatever reason. They wanted to just kill each other. That's cool. That's kind of like why that whole thing happened. But it seems like people like me who grew up with the dad issues, are trying to be there. Yeah. And I go to school, I see the other dads, I go to the grocery store on Sunday, and it's just, I don't ever want to be one thing, and that's why I like what you're doing. You're not just the basketball guy. You're not like, you didn't do any comedy about basketball.
No. No.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you've done a lot in athletics. I mean, was basketball like a real lifelong passion for you, or was it kind of the thing that just kind of helped you do something, focus?
Well, according to my granddad, basketball's in your blood, grandson.
Yeah.
It's in our last name, the Smiths. And that's what he used to tell me. And then when I told him I was transitioning into comedy, he had a different talk for me. It was more of a, you fucking idiot. That's the type of stuff he started saying to me. But it was a good transition because I was doing something that I wanted to do, And basketball was something I did. Yeah. I accomplished all the dreams and goals I had for the sport. Did I leave a lot of money on the table? Absolutely. Is there money still to be made? Absolutely. I get calls still now, and it's saying no after doing an open mic for no dollars, hard to do. Yeah. Absolutely, But I really love stand-up. I love the trajectory that I'm on right now. And I think this is going to pay off tenfold for me, just like basketball did. So,
well, I remember right around that time I first saw you, you kind of disappeared for a while, right? Did you went overseas?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So is that the first time you left the country for anything, or?
No, I'd been to Mexico when I was real young. I don't know if that counts or not.
Yeah, I mean, vacation.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Family thing,
other than that, no. I'd went to Spain in college. It was basketball related. Yeah. We went and played some other teams in Spain. And then, my first year out of college when I played pro, I played in Slovakia. So that was my first time living.
I don't know if you know this. Slovakia, famous for... There's a horror movie where it's Halloween. We love horror movies. There's a movie called Hostel. You ever heard of this movie?
No.
Oh, boy. Well, buckle up, Xavier. Hostel is a movie. Okay, it's about these guys, 3 guys in college, the boys. They're like, let's go. We're going to have a party. We're going to go for the summer. We're going to hook up with a bunch of girls. They go to Amsterdam. Amsterdam, famous for weed, legal weed, mushrooms, prostitution. They're partying. And then they meet some Russian guy who's like, you should come to Slovakia. You know, the girls over there.
Yeah.
They're better. They're cheaper. They're more fun. And then what happens is these guys go over there, they party with some girls, and they get drugged. And then each of them wake up, and they're in some really bad situations.
Well, that's a sad ending.
And it's basically the story is these rich elites from around the world pay to go torture people in Slovakia. So sorry, Slovakia. It was probably not good for your tourism, but I see why you brought this guy over there. So, you know, you can kind of help out. And
Well, I'm glad they didn't show me that movie before I went, because my black ass definitely wouldn't have went.
Yeah, no, it definitely was a creepy movie when I saw it, but the architecture and it looked really cool. Like a lot of like really tight, you know, kind of what do you call them? Not, I guess streets would be a way to put it, but it looked like a lot of walking.
Yes,
a lot of walking, right? I mean, it's not a car-friendly area, is it?
No, especially, I mean, if you're in the smaller I was in a very small town, like in the mountains almost, called Svit. And what I realized, what I learned, like from all the places and countries I've lived in Europe, is like when I first get there, it's like I hate it, you know. But then I have to just accept where I'm at, and then I started to find things I liked about each place, you know. So Slovakia was definitely one of those places because it was a hard culture shock. Because that's the first place I lived outside of the country, you know. But yeah, Slovakia, it was an experience, I'll say that.
So, I mean, how's the language barrier there? I mean,
terrible.
Do you have to have an interpreter, or do they speak English? I mean,
they thought they were speaking English. It didn't sound like English. But I'm in their country. You know, so I never got upset about that. It was annoying, but Google Translate, thank God for that. But in terms of like basketball, we had translators on the teams, and the assistant coaches all spoke fluent English. But like just in real life, day to day, it was tough, you know, going to the grocery store asking for milk and eggs, and you end up getting fucking goose eggs instead of fucking chicken eggs. Like, that's different, you know. So trying to figure those things out.
So how was the game? You know, is it different? Are the teams different over there? How about your teammates? I mean, did they have other people from America come over to play? Or
on each team it was different because like there's different rules in different leagues in the countries, like on how many imports is what we're called on each team. So like some teams allow up to 5 imports, and some of them aren't always American. Like sometimes, so if we're playing Slovakia in a domestic league, you could bring over a Spaniard and 3 Americans. You know, so those count as all imports. It doesn't just have to be American. So but luckily on my first few teams they were just all Americans. So I had some other darker skinned people with me, and we bonded and connected. Good. And I had some relief, you know, on some of my teams. But for the most part, the natives were all welcoming, and you know, having native teammates saved us because they knew where everything was. They knew how to do everything, so we needed them and relied on them big time.
So when you weren't doing any, you know, game related stuff or practicing, how did you pass the time? I mean, were there specific kind of activities that were, you know, specific to Slovakia that you probably wouldn't have done, or, you know, like how's the food, you know, how's it?
No,
you know?
The first thing I always did when I landed in each country, in each city, was find out where the McDonald's was. And that's, that's what I'm doing.
That they're everywhere.
And McDonald's in Europe is 10 times better than McDonald's here.
I can imagine.
Oh my goodness, because like I don't know what it is. They're really making it back or something. Yeah. But that's always my first goal: find my location and see how far I am from McDonald's, and figure out how I can consistently get there. And that was kind of like my happy place when I started missing home and stuff. Yeah, go to McDonald's, you know.
And so, how long were you out there?
The first time I was out there in Slovakia 10 months. Then after that, came home for a couple months in the summer, trained, signed my next deal, went to Portugal.
Wow.
Came back, trained, signed another deal, went to Greece, came back, went to Spain, came back, went to Greece. Started off my career in San Antonio. So I went from San Antonio to Slovakia, so that was a big difference too. But yeah, the seasons are long. But my season in Portugal, I actually came home early, and I was for multiple reasons. But like in that time passing, a lot of the time, what I was doing was wishing I was home doing stand up.
Yeah, I can imagine, right?
And I'm watching people's specials all the time. I'm seeing comedians grow, you know, in the comedy space and take off, and I'm like, damn, what would be happening if I was back home working on stand-up, like working on it right now? So that started taking over my mind. And I just started to feel like there was somewhere else I was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I came home, and then I tried stand-up really hard. So I started it before I went to Portugal.
Yeah.
And before I went to Slovakia, but I wasn't concerned with doing it full-time at all. I wasn't trying to actually go for it. I was just doing it to see if I liked it. I was doing well, and people told me I was good, but I'm playing basketball, making money. But then in Portugal, something hit me hard, and I felt like there was somewhere else I needed to be. So I came home in the middle of the season, and there was some business stuff going on with the basketball team. That doesn't really matter right now. But I came home, and I decided to put my foot down and go for the comedy thing, and stuff started moving. That was around the time of the Shanghai feature that we talked about before, and then I ran out of money. And then I got another call from Greece, and that money was good.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what, comedy will be here. Let me go. Then I went to Greece, played that season, came back home, and now we're here.
Wow, man,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I mean, have you always just made money from basketball, or did you ever have any regular jobs? I mean, other than this company thing that you got here, that we
Yeah.
you don't have to talk about, but
No, I never. I'm trying to think. No, basketball,
I mean, because that's
pretty much.
regardless of even if you're not into the sport, how great is it that you're getting paid to play?
Yeah.
And you're keeping in shape. I mean, I don't know what your dating life is like, but I imagine it's probably not too bad. Being a professional athlete.
I did all right. Yeah.
But when you think about stand up all day long and it's just something you can't stop, that's
Man.
how you know that's what you
Man.
got to do. Because I mean, that's
Yeah.
the same way with me. I'll be at work and I will just can't stop. And
Yeah.
I was just I mean, I'll have to, put it away somewhere and write it down and, stop myself from not getting fired because I just drift off. And I'm always thinking about, I was thinking about this show. I was like, man, I got to talk to Xavier, he'd be great to do the podcast with. And I was like, oh, look, he's doing the show.
Yeah.
So how the show, how did it come about and your crew? I mean, Herman and
Doug, yeah.
What's that, Doug?
Doug, yep.
Yeah,
Herman and Doug.
how did the whole thing, how'd you meet these guys and how'd you find out that they were, talented?
These guys are my best friends, like my family at this point. We all met freshman year of high school. We all went to the same high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So this is almost 10 years ago now, 8 years ago to be exact. And me and Doug played sports together. Herman wasn't as gifted vertically as us.
Yeah.
He's a shorter guy.
Yeah.
So he didn't ever make any teams, but I had some leverage in the athletic department at school, and I kind of told the coach hey, this is our guy. Let's make him a part of the team in some way. And he was kind of just our liaison, assistant manager, kind of just was always with the team. So that kind of unified us those last couple of years because we were all able to be together and we kind of built that strong relationship like that. Then we went off to college. Doug went and played football at University of Hawaii. I went off to Oregon State. Herman went and studied at Wazoo. And then we still, every time we came back and spent time together, we were still friends, picked up where we left off. And I don't know, we just built a good trust and relationship with each other. We've been through a lot together. And then when I transitioned into comedy, Doug transitioned into production and music and engineering and things like that. Herman picked up a camera, and then it kind of just all the stars kind of aligned.
Yeah.
I don't know. We just kind of worked well together,
Yeah, no, it's a heck of a show. I mean, and so they're just jokes.
Yeah.
You were doing it at another place up there, farther up in Seattle.
That's when you came by,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Yeah, you
that
came
was
to-
really that
Yeah.
was so fun. But I mean, what got you interested in getting that thing started? I mean, was there another producer that that were like, I like what they're doing? Or
Well, with me, I'm always looking at I'm not a person who likes to complain and not try to find a solution. So it's I want to advance in my stand-up career. I want to get bigger. I want to do more comedy. I want to get booked more. And so I'm doing all this research. I'm looking at everybody, and all the people I looked up to at some point had started their own room.
yeah,
And that's when I was like, am I trying as hard as I can, or how can I apply this to what I got going on? So then I adopted the idea of I was going to do open mic, but I'm like, nah, I don't really want. Everybody does an open mic, so then I was like, let's create a show that is some type of mixture of stand up, and then I started the sit down interviews at the end of each show. And then I did that. That was going really well. We got a great response from that, so we kept that going, and we took that as far as we could take that at that location. Then we were blessed with this opportunity for this new location. And then we're like, we can't do the same show. How can we get bigger again?
Mm-hmm.
Then I've obviously advanced in my career since then, since we started that. And we was like, now I'm in acting and doing stuff like that and writing. I picked up on all that a lot. So I was like, let's mix everything together and make a variety comedy show, stand-up, sketch. I love music. So let's bring some music artists in at the end of these show. I love like late night TV, like Fallon and Kimmel.
And it's all going away, which is sad. You know, I grew up when I was really young. I used to watch a show called Late Night with Conan O'Brien.
Yeah.
And so this was before he was on TBS. He used to have a show on NBC, and it was on at like 11:30. You know, or it was on at 12:30. And so at that time at night, you can kind of do some weird stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I always loved when somebody would randomly come out dressed like a horse, you know, or like the puppets. You know, that's where that little Triumph, the insult comic dog, he came from that. You know, he would just be talking shit to celebrities. And there's another late night show that was on a long time called, I think it was maybe it was the Late Show with Craig Ferguson.
Okay.
And he used to have a robot. It was a robot, like, and it was actually a person that would talk into a microphone just like us, but the robot's mouth would move. Yeah. And so he'd be sitting there interviewing a celebrity, you know, like Jamie Foxx, and then all of a sudden the robot starts talking and chiming in. Yeah. And so I love that stuff. And like, I saw some of that tonight with what you were doing with, like, you know, kind of some of the
randomness,
stuff, the props and I mean, what a cast. Let's break it down. You got Andre West.
Yeah, we got Andre West.
That guy is just all over. He's doing all sorts of shows. Charming as hell.
Yeah, he's one of the first real friends I had in stand-up. You know, somebody that actually, like, I was cool with. I talked to, not just about comedy. So, like, he was a good friend of mine, and I think he was a perfect fit. He was one of the first calls I made. Yeah. For the show. Super funny guy.
Yeah, we got Alexa Hansen. Man, I haven't seen her in a while. And usually when I would see her, it would be at like club comedy, you know, the 3-minute sets. And so watching her tonight, I was like, wow, she has gotten really, really good. Yeah. You know, and she has the style that's almost the opposite of everybody that was in the crowd, but it was perfect. I mean, that's exactly what you need. You need like kind of a left turn sometimes, you know, to give somebody something different. And she was great.
Yeah. With people like her, I always tell her, like, don't read the room. Just be you. You know, and that's what, like you said, like the randomness of the show. I don't want my cast feeling like they have to conform to the room. I hand selected everybody for who they are. And I'm happy Alexa has been comfortable enough to continue to be her at the show. So Alexa's a good one. We got Gus. Yeah,
Gus is. I've only seen him a few times. He's kind of a newer comedian. You know, he's been around probably for at least a year at this point. But no, his character. He's doing the character work, and that's, you know, I love that. Mike DeVore, good friend, nice guy, great energy to start the show.
Mike's a big part of the show. Also, he's part of the production team, so like he helps me like just organize my ideas, and he does some editing for the show, for the production of the show. So he's a big part. And Gus, I didn't want to skip over Gus. Gus,
tell me more about Gus. I need to know.
He's been to the show, like when I first started at the previous location. Gus like showed up every week, you know, and just was a helping, like, whatever you need, bro, like I'm here for you. And that's something that, like, I was like, that's hard to come by. So me and Gus have been rocking ever since the week 1 of the original show, and I'm happy he's still on the team and with us, because, you know, he's really important to the growth of our show. But yeah, Mike, Gus, Alexa, Andre, Donald Robert. He's a newer comedian.
Yeah. I've seen him. He used to come to Whiskey Mile all the time, and great guy. Yeah. Miss Newman. Oh, my God.
Character.
Man. Killed tonight. She killed it. Always kills it. I was telling these guys earlier, I've seen Miss Newman's bare breast.
Yeah.
On stage.
She'll show them on,
but I saw her light it on fire on stage, which was just
doesn't care.
A memory that I'll never forget. And, you know, I also saw her whenever her and Mr. Mookie are together. I don't know if people know Mr. Mookie down there in Tacoma, man. They are the best. You know, it's just like they need their own podcast.
Yeah.
Mr. Mookie and Miss Newman do their own podcast. It would.
I don't know if they could figure out how to turn YouTube on.
Yeah, I know.
They're
they
getting
need
up
a
there.
producer.
Yeah, they need some millennial on their team.
That would be amazing, you know. But she is just, I love her,
Yeah, they're
her
hilarious.
energy, and you know,
Too funny.
yeah, she's great. And then let's see, tonight as a special guest, you had Bo
Bo came in
Blast,
as a special guest.
and he did a sketch with you guys.
Yep.
And he
yep.
also did stand up. And I had never seen Bo. I know the name. Everybody that I'm friends with has done his show at this point. You know, Casey Judson, Andy Harder, you know, Logan Cantrell, you know, all these guys doing the Ha Ha Tuesdays, and everybody says that's like the hottest show down there in Tacoma.
Yeah.
So check it out. But yeah, Bo is just
Yeah, he was one of the first people to
Yeah.
kind of like reach out to me, start giving me advice in comedy. You know, he saw something in me, and I've always appreciated that advice he's given. So I'm happy he comes and does my shows when I ask, and when he asks, I always return the favor. So it's good to have people like that around.
you could tell, man, that he is definitely a professional. I mean, because he's flawlessly goes from like material to just crowd work and doesn't sound like any of it's written.
Yeah.
And like,
He's good.
And he's just so natural. And like, I was very impressed to see him in you know, for the first time just tonight. And
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm like looking forward to checking out one of his shows.
Yeah, he's
down
good,
there in
man.
Tacoma.
We also got David Babu.
David. Oh,
David
God.
Babu. He's a good
Cannot
he's a
forget
character.
David.
Yeah.
Man, and he wants to do the podcast too.
Oh,
He
man,
keeps
you got to
saying-
get him on here.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like I was on a thing with him in Tacoma, one of the back booth bullies shows, and
Shout out Back Booth.
him and I and Peter Artman all had to eat ice cream and just eat tons and tons of ice cream. Tried to give ourselves a brain freeze, but it didn't end up working. But yeah, we ate about probably like a gallon of ice cream, chocolate ice cream, and David, he was good. He just handled it, you know. But he was at the show last time too, the one that I did with you. And man, I love his energy. I wish whatever he's doing, I need to figure out.
Yeah.
Because I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I need something, you know,
Yeah.
to get me out of bed. So, but yeah, man, it's been great. So what's kind of the plan with the show, and where do you see it going? You know.
Where do I see it going? I see it
Because right now you got it. It's a live event. You're filming it.
Yeah.
Is it every week?
Every week.
Are you gonna do like, you know, kind of a season, or are you just gonna keep going?
Every week right now. We're in a pilot phase right now, so we're
Yeah.
kind of getting just like a proof of a concept for the show.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take it and pitch it places and see what we could do with it. But it's definitely something that we're trying to consistently do and grow, but we want it to get bigger and bigger. We don't want it to stop evolving. And everybody a part of it. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anybody off the cast. I think we got everybody. Jonte Osler, shout out to him. He's another good writer and a comedian from the city.
he was
on
there
our
too.
team.
Jonte. So many people on your show tonight have featured at the Whiskey Mile, the bar that I was running the open mic at. R.I.P. No longer there, but
Oh man, another one down?
Hey,
What's another?
well, that one was a weird one because the owner had a dispute. Well, the owner of the bar had a dispute with the owner of the building. And so they had a plumbing issue and it was not getting fixed, and he decided that he wasn't going to pay, and so they kicked him out. So
Oh, that sounds like Uncrustables versus Trader Joe's. They're beefing about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but they're both billionaires.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Oh man. I'm just paying attention to all the horrible news lately, you know. I'm looking. That's why I came to your show.
You
I
gotta
want
look at the
positive
important stuff. Yeah.
I'm just seeing where we're at here.
No, you're good.
So put it online, and
Yep.
then like, where would you want to go? Where would you like this show to kind of go?
I don't know. I want to see the reaction and feedback we get from people and how they receive it. You know, because we haven't put anything out from our previous shows, or I don't even have that much material out to the public. You know, because obviously I'm still grinding, trying to get better. You know, your first special. There's people that's told me I should film a special, but it's like I still think I'm so far from where I want to be. You know, like my end goal for my personal career is like really, really high, like where I want to be. So I think I'm still far from where I want to be at a space to release a first hour of material.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So I think I'm kind of like treating the show the same way, where it's like I just want to keep getting better with the show, and wherever that takes us is where it takes us. But the only goal is growth and to make it better.
Yeah, man. It's yeah, I can't say enough about it. You know, like I like, you know, stand up is great.
Yeah.
You know, we know so many people, so many great comedians, hilarious people, but there's just like something that I feel, you know, just really just warms my heart, I guess is the best way of putting it, is when people are just going out and doing more than just stand up. You know, like stand up it's kind of a weird thing because it's like it's a social thing because you're out there and you're trying to entertain people, but it's also a selfish thing because you're by yourself, you're not on a team. You know, it's kind of one of the things I like about it. You know, I was on team sports as a kid and ended up going into like, you know, wrestling. Yeah, I was a wrestler for a little bit. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just rambling at this point. But either way, it's like I appreciate just like somebody doing something else. You know, like Mason down in Tacoma, he's got his Back Booth Bully show.
Yes.
You know, I have all these people I know that do podcasts. I run this page on Instagram called Seattle Comedy Podcast. So pretty much whenever, if I see it, you know, a local comic posts a new episode, I try to share it. That way everybody has a place to go. And it's like, you know, it's all a community, you know, like if you like this person, you might like that person. And it's just like, even coming here tonight, it was like, oh, wow, it was cool to see you. I didn't even know you were going to be here, you know, like Jonte, you know, I haven't seen him in a while. So,
well, I appreciate you just being a part of the community, like caring about it. You know, some people get into stand up and and rightfully so, you get into it and it's your career, but there's a certain level of care that I feel like great communities of comedy have to have about each other. And I appreciate you having a podcast, you being a stand-up, you caring just about the well-being of the comedy community here. Because in the big cities, they care about the comedy community, you know, and everybody's trying to uplift comedy and push it forward, and everybody's booking each other on shows, podcasts. So it's like, this type of stuff is how we grow, and we got to keep doing it. And then the whites and the blacks have to stick together. The punk rocks and the athletes have to stick together.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. Yeah, and also the Latinos, you know.
You can't forget about all of them, everybody.
You know, not to get too political, but I'm not cool with the whole ICE thing, man. I'm not. This is not very happy.
Well, I'm glad
not
you're
very happy with those fellas over there in their masks. You know, they're just not.
Well, I'm glad you made it clear.
They're not acting right. You know.
Right.
So it's October.
Yes.
Halloween. Was Halloween ever a big holiday for you growing up?
Oh, sure, yeah. I was Michael Jackson for like 5 years in a row.
Okay, this is great. I want to hear about this. So tell me about these. Like, what was kind of what was your favorite thing about Halloween growing up? And then, you know, Michael Jackson and kind of some of the other costumes that you had. You know?
Well, I went through a couple of phases in my life. There was a phase of my life where I really believed I was a cowboy. So I was a cowboy for like 4 years. And then there's a phase, I got a little older, I thought I was Michael Jackson. And then I saw him turn white. I was like, wait, that's not me no more. And then I stopped being Michael Jackson. And then I started to just transition to like being an athlete. So I was different people like LeBron a lot of the times. I started being LeBron a lot. And then, by that time, I started to phase out of it. But, I mean, Halloween, get candy, go with the friends, run around.
Pretty normal. You did the normal trick-or-treating type stuff. Before I got into music, I mean, kind of Michael Jackson was the earliest kind of thing for me. You know, when I was a kid, I had this is dating me. This is making me sound old. I had a couple VHS videotapes, and it was called The History of Michael Jackson, and it was all of his music videos.
Oh, wow.
So it had like Billie Jean and Beat It and, Bad. And one of my favorites, Remember the Time, you know, with Eddie Murphy was the pharaoh in that video. But I loved Michael Jackson growing up. And then I never dressed up like him, unfortunately.
If you didn't have a Michael Jackson phase, though, I don't think you were a real person. You had to have had a Michael Jackson phase, like everybody.
Now, I will tell you this. The thing that makes me very happy is my daughter. I got a daughter she's got autism, so she's really hard to get her into stuff that I wanted her to introduce her to. So, but she loves the Minions. And in the third Despicable Me, Michael Jackson's Bad plays a whole prominent part in the movie, and so now she's always listening to that. I'll be in the back. I'll be driving her to school. She's got the phone on, and she's singing Bad, and it's just it's awesome. So great, because I heard some jokes tonight about like some modern music and Drake, and it's just like. I hate to be the old guy, but man, it's so the music back then was just so good, like I don't know if it was the songwriters, maybe it was just the time, but
have you seen this new punk rock band? They're a black band. They're from Atlanta. I think their name is like Paradox or something.
No, I haven't.
I think that's the name. I hope. If not, I'm going to send it to you after, and you can maybe link them or something. I don't know. Check them out. But yeah, they're a cool band. One of my favorite bands is the Goo Goo Dolls.
I love the Goo Goo Dolls. Yeah, we Slide. We talked about Slide. Iris. The song Iris. I used to sing all the time when I was a young guy. Recording music videos. Goo Goo Dolls were a great band. They started off kind of more heavy, and then they got very poppy. But great songs. It's as I get older, I appreciate just good songs.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Can you remind me the name of the woman that we saw tonight who
Jester.
Jester.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Amazing.
That's not typically the style of music that I listen to. Maybe I'll throw on some old 90s R&B, but I was grooving.
She was singing.
She was great.
She was singing.
And I was like, I want to hear a whole album.
Come on.
And where did you find her? I mean,
she's a Seattle artist, and I've been a fan of hers for a while. She's a really good singer, so I hit her up, asked her if she'd come do the show, and we talked about what it looks like, and she came in and she did it, and we had a great time tonight. So I'm happy she came. She's an amazing talent.
Yeah, and that totally gives that whole kind of Saturday Night Live vibe to the whole thing. And are you going to continue doing like musical artists at the end? And
yeah.
How do you go about kind of finding these, or do you just know about a lot of? I mean, you grew up here.
Yeah, I'm pretty tapped into the music community here, and I am a fan of music itself. So it's like I know good music when I hear it, and music I like. So, and I don't just have like one genre of music. I listen to everything. I would say country music is my top 3 genre of music I listen to.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and I don't know where that came from. I just love music. I love storytelling, and I love people that actually care about their craft and their art.
Yeah.
So anybody I find like that I can connect with, and it's good, I'll ask them to come to the show because I just want to connect with as many people as possible.
Where do you listen to music the most? Do you think it's in the car, when you work out? I mean,
it definitely used to be when I was working out. I haven't been working out as much as a comedian, but definitely used to be when I was working out. Now it's in the car, for sure, in the car.
And do you usually kind of stick to one thing, or does it just depend? Does it depend on the mood? I mean,
it's definitely day to day.
Yeah.
Some days I'm heavy R&B. Some days I'm heavy country. Some days I'm one artist for multiple days, actually. I can go on a run where I listen to one artist for 7 days in a row.
You sing in the car?
I sing in the car.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I sing in the car. I'll sing everywhere. I'll sing anywhere.
Nice. Yeah, you do. Do you think you got a good voice? I mean,
yeah,
not like Jay.
I think if you asked me if I had a good voice, I think I'd say yes.
Oh,
that's what I think.
Hidden talent. All right.
If you ask somebody else, I don't know if they'd also say that, but I think I like it enough.
I mean, we might have to collaborate. I have a lot of. While I'm kind of taking a little break from stand-up right now, not necessarily not doing it, but just not, Tacoma's kind of a drive for me. It's about an hour and a half at the minimum. Okay. And Olympia's even farther. So
what side of town are you in?
I live in Granite Falls, which is up near Everett.
Yeah.
So it's about 20 minutes from Everett.
Got you.
It's the kind of place where I had to complain to my HOA because the neighbor had a Trump flag up in their house. And I was like, you know what? I mean, I don't want to be a Karen, but if I can't hang, whatever I want in front of my house, I definitely don't think this guy should be. So I made a complaint. You know,
And how'd it turn out?
They took it down. It's there's a lot of like, I would call regular people that have moved to this town.
Yeah.
But I think traditionally, before I moved there, it was definitely a very, very white town. They had a lot of issues with like drugs and meth, and there was even an article about the town back in the 2000s how they had such a problem with the drug issues there. So it's kind of become more gentrified, more of a regular town at this point, but it's kind of a drive for me. So I got my podcast that I do.
Okay.
I came here, but I also, I kind of converted in the garage into my own studio.
Got you. That's awesome.
And so I got that. I'm inviting comics over to do the podcast. And then I also got my green screen so I can do, different types of videos. And I kind of experimented a little bit. Like you said, trial run, pilot season.
Yeah.
So, I did a couple kind of green screen videos with some friends. And they turned out, pretty decent.
Nice.
And I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I said, not very happy with stand-up right now. I really know I'm not the kind of guy that like is good at writing little things every week. I think for me, because I used to write songs, it's better for me to just not do anything and take a little break and then just focus on the writing and then go back out and do the stand-up rather than doing it at the same time. I mean, it's easier for me to kind of keep them separate because I can get too, I can get frustrated, I can get kind of not bitter because I know that I have enough self-awareness to know, and I've said this to other comics, that I'm like, I know I'm not a great comic. I know I'm not where I want to be. That's why I'm not like feeling bad that I'm not on this comedy contest or I'm not on this show and I'm not reaching out, because I would like to be as good as like a Bo Blast, somebody who can confidently go out there and just kill it every time. Or Miss Newman, even Miss Newman kills it every time. So, but yeah, I it's kind of what you're doing. I want to do these kind of little sketches and things like that.
Yeah.
And I got some ideas, and so I think in the next few months, I'm going to do that kind of stuff. Continue doing the podcast, do the sketches. I got some ideas for some more YouTube stuff, and then I'll keep writing, and then maybe come back, do your show, and
you're always welcome. Yeah.
Do some other shows, and the thing about, I was trying to explain to Mike earlier, is that's tough is, the internet is not what it used to be. They really created these bubbles for everybody, these algorithms, where it's really hard to get out of that algorithm unless you got something that is just pops off right away. Some viral video that just like everybody wants to see. And usually what happens is they get that viral video, everybody subscribes to you, and then if you're not continually putting out good stuff, then they go away.
You're gone, yeah.
So to me, I'm like trying to be strategic about it. I'm like, I want to build up like a bunch of stuff and not release it right away. I want to just save it up, and then sometime in the next few months, 2026, schedule it. Have it come out. Kind of like your show. Every week. Have. Every Friday I'll have this sketch come out, and every Tuesday I'll have the podcast, and maybe I'll it's just going to be an experiment. A few months of just posting a lot of stuff, and let's see if it helps build the audience.
And I think even you're in the right mindset. You're going in the right direction, just having a growth mindset about it. Because people get too fixated on the outcomes of things and not just focused on the growth and the process of getting to where you want to be. So people are more focused on, I want to go viral. I want to be a comedian like this, or I want to be at this level. I want this many people to watch my show or come to my show. But you have not yet spent any time figuring out what are the steps that take it to get to get to that point. So you have to figure those steps out. So I would say just do it, man, and figure it out along the way, because that's what I feel like you have to do. Nobody had all the answers before they started in anything.
Do you think that is there anything about comedy that you feel differently about now as opposed to when you started?
Like,
Like, were there things that you thought that maybe didn't end up being the way you thought, or maybe like you were surprised about, or
maybe that's a thinker for me, because
Yeah.
when I first started stand up, I wasn't talking to anybody. You know, I would do my set and I would go home. I wasn't
Yeah.
concerned with talking or connecting with anybody else. But the past year, I've really like gotten comfortable in the spaces, like with comedians and in clubs and with bookers, and in turn, it's helped me with everything in comedy. But I've also learned, and just producing my own show and doing my own thing, that people will take your kindness for weakness. So that's taught me some things, and I've had to make adjustments, and it's all been like learning processes that I've been adjusted to. So the comedy has taught me a lot, not just in comedy, but in life, and it's helped me as a person open up, meet people like yourself. Because with basketball, I'm so protected, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I have a team, I have a coach, they do everything for us. All I have to do is wake up, go to the gym, and they have my food ready, my bags ready, and everything. Like, this is like, it's all on me. And your success is dependent on your relationships, how much work you put in, are you funny on the stage, and can you figure out a way to keep elevating? So this is definitely a different game that I've learned a lot about.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that you mentioned that you know, what I think is like anybody could do comedy. Anybody can do stand up. But in order to be successful, it is about like being a cool person, communicating, building a network, a community, you know, and building those relationships, you know, because it's almost guaranteed that somebody in charge of booking at a comedy club they're not going to reach out to you no matter how funny you are.
No.
First of all, they're going to wait for you to reach out to them, and then they're going to be like, okay, do I know you? Okay, I don't know you. All right, well, how funny are you? If you're not that funny, you know, and it's like, but most of the time, a lot of these people on these shows, it's not necessarily based on how funny they are, but just that they've been funny enough, and they're nice people, and they are good at promoting, and they're just have good energy about them.
Yeah.
And so it's like a lot of comics especially new ones, you know, like you were saying, like I used to just leave after. I would too, you know, like, because, you know, you never know what people think about you. And maybe and for me, I was always like, oh, these guys don't like me, so I'm out of here. But yeah, you built, I mean, you get a lot out of the relationships that you build, you know, through comedy. And it's like I've said, you know, there are these people that I've met that, like, I would like to think that outside of comedy we would be friends, but like I can't think of any situation where I would meet this, you know, 62-year-old gay Jewish guy or this trans person from Capitol Hill when I live way up here. So it's a way of like getting all sorts of different types of personalities together for a common.
I didn't think
thing.
I'd have a punk rock guy sitting in my building right now.
Yeah, I got a lot of layers, you know, like, yeah, I like a lot of, you know, I'd rather be the punk rock guy than anything else. Honestly,
I think that's not.
I'm not really a skater.
be.
I'm not really the metal guy. You know, I've done a show called Emo's Not Funny.
Okay.
And so, you know, I kind of did a little emo stuff, but I don't, you know, I like the punk. The punk is, you know, it really defines me, because to be a punk is like just to believe in, you know, what's right and what's good, and you know, all the stuff that's going on right now is not really what's good. So, but what we're doing and what you're doing is good. And
oh man, I appreciate that.
yeah, I mean, man, I don't know where we at here. We're just about at an hour. I don't know anything else you want to add about the show or about some of the people. I mean, like besides the people we saw tonight, I mean, who are some of your other friends here in comedy that you kind of collaborate with? And we have Lucas McDermott. We forgot to mention him. He's part of your show.
Yeah, Lucas came and did a good episode with us.
Oh, Mason.
Fortunate.
Yeah, you're friends with Mason A,
Mason.
right? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard for me to just to pick one people.
Yeah.
Like everybody I talk to, I find something interesting.
Yeah.
To connect with them about. So it's like I've connected with the most, and like you said, it's about the old 62-year-old Jewish gay guy. It's like there are so many random people that I'm friends with now,
Yeah.
and I communicate with. It's like when I see them with my friends before I started comedy, they're like, "How do you know him, X?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know how I know this person, but
Yeah.
I know him and this is my friend now. So it's like a weird thing that's kind of entered my life because like basketball players, like being an athlete for so long, is like there's a certain crowd and type of circle and people I used to hang out with, and they're polar opposite of comedians, you know? And I find myself more comfortable with this group of people for some reason.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't know why, but yeah, I'm happy with the friends I've made in comedy so far, and I'm looking to make more, man.
I mean, look, I had friends, lifelong friends that I grew up with, I was in a band with. And then when I moved up here in 2019,
Yeah.
I didn't do comedy for 4 years. So those 4 years, it was tough. You know, it's hard to figure out, you know, who are the people that I want to be friends with? Who do I want to surround myself with? Who do I get along with? Who gets my humor?
Right.
And I didn't realize it until starting comedy that like the humor was such a big part of it, and like being able to joke around and have a good time, and like talk about serious things in a not so serious way, which not some people just can't do. You know.
Yeah.
What was your worst bomb? What was the worst kind of moment on stage?
I think
If you can remember, you know.
my worst moment on stage.
I mean, usually people figure it out pretty quick, you know, and have good sets no matter what. But usually in the beginning, there's a couple hard ones, you know.
I'm at a point right now where even if the joke I wrote doesn't land, I could figure out a way to maneuver it and still get a laugh from the room. And that's something I'm really comfortable with now. But before I figured that out, I would I would be surprised when people didn't like or laugh at the joke because I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why are you guys not laughing? So that was a hard thing for me to like figure out, but I figured that out pretty quick, and then I kind of started to weave, and sometimes the silence is what helps the next laughter for me, at least. Like when sometimes I like when people don't laugh at a joke,
Yeah.
because it kind of helps me maneuver. I maneuver well in awkwardness, and I don't know why. I don't know what it's been, but if it's an awkward conversation, I could usually make it funny.
You had something tonight that I don't know if it was pre-written, but you said something that like really got people going, and it was you said something about the hose.
Yeah,
right?
talk about hose.
The
Yeah.
guy, the older guy, like you left your hose.
I was in the 60s.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a great line.
Yeah.
What a great line. Yeah. And people, yeah. See, and that's what you do, you know, like you take a situation and you just go with it. And sometimes that's the best way to get a laugh.
Yeah, sometimes and sometimes it's about like kind of warming the audience up to like your style and like bringing them into your mind, you know, because sometimes I could say something out loud and people might not think I'm joking. Even though we're here at a comedy club, I'm a stand-up comedian. You paid to see a stand-up comedian tell jokes. I could say something and they think I'm super serious about it or they take offense to it. But when that happens, I kind of like feel that energy and I try to bring them deeper into my mind so they know that it's all rooted from like a good place. Like I talk about hoes a lot. I don't have a problem with hoes at all. I admire hoes, you know.
Oh, they're great.
And I think they do a lot
They're
of good
very
work for
beautiful,
us.
actually.
Yeah, some of them. But yeah, man, I've had a lot of bad sets, and I think those are the ones that have allowed me to grow so fast because I watched my bad sets more than I watched my good sets. I know what I said good, you know.
Yeah.
I like to watch the bad ones to see why didn't it go well tonight, and or why this particular bit didn't work, but everything else did. That's my favorite. Like watching game film.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's I think that's smart. I mean, I do the same thing. I record everything. I don't always watch it, but I think it's important to record it, listen to it. You know, you just never know. You might catch something that you didn't know you said. And then you're like, oh, I'm gonna start working with that.
Yeah.
What was the best moment on stage? Did you ever have a really big crowd or a really hot crowd?
Yeah. I'll say I did a festival this summer and I got a standing ovation.
Nice.
It's a festival that I produce. It's called Maybe Crazy. We do it every summer, and
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah, where was it at?
It's at Carco Theater in Renton.
Wow.
Yeah, so that felt really good.
Yeah.
for a lot of different reasons that we don't have to get
That's
into.
awesome.
But
That's
that
great.
felt really good to just have that moment, and that was one of the first longer sets that I did and prepared, and because before I'd done like 15s, 20s, you know, but I did 45 that night, and everybody was waiting for me to do that long set like that, and ever since then it's been easier and better, and I feel like I could do anything. And with me, I don't really care if people think I'm funny or not, but as long as I said something or did something to make you listen to me interesting, intriguing, or I looked you in your eyes and you felt or listened to what I was saying, that always makes me feel good too. So I don't know. I just like bringing people into my mind, what I'm thinking about. I don't know. I'm a weird guy. I think about weird shit. So I like
Hey, that's
people into my
that's
mind.
what a comedian is somebody
Yeah.
who's, you know, somewhat up and down with their emotions and also thinks outside of the box. And
yeah, man.
you are a comedian, Xavier. So yeah, man, we've been talking for about an hour now.
Man, I appreciate you having me.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for you know, doing the podcast. Again, people want to do. They're just jokes.
Yeah.
It's going to be every Wednesday.
Yeah, we're doing it every Wednesday. And before we get out here, again, I want to say thank you for having me on the podcast.
Oh, yeah,
This is an amazing thing you're doing.
Thanks, man.
Continue to do that. Any creative ideas that I can help with and be a part of, I would love to help and have you on the show. And yeah, thanks for having me on, man. This is really cool.
Yeah.
But the show is, every Wednesday. We're releasing it on YouTube. Premieres live every Wednesday at 7:30 also. So you could grab tickets, come to the show, and be at the show. Or you could
It's in
watch it
West
on
Seattle,
YouTube. West
you know?
Seattle, Jet City Labs. The show's Instagram is They're Just Jokes. My Instagram is xsmith11. And we're growing, and we're just trying to trend in the right direction.
All right. Well, I think that's going to be it. Thanks again.
man. Appreciate you, guys.
And yeah, come to the show.
To be reckoned.
That was cool.
Comedy Simp, the podcast you can't resist. Stephen Michael James, the host you won't wanna miss. From Seattle to the world, his humor will persist. Join the fun, get ready to enlist. Spitting fire.